I don't get tired of those shots. We're looking at Evonne Davis, Artistic Director of Gallery Aferro, which is located on Market Street in Newark. And it is a fascinating gallery, committed to, dedicated to?
Dedicated to supporting emerging artists and developing an audience for contemporary art.
Now, why do we need such a gallery?
Why not?
I mean, think about it. I mean, in devil's advocate, people say, well, there are all kinds of places where young artists or emerging artists can show their work. That's not really true, is it?
It's not as true in Newark as it is, let's say, in Manhattan, but we need all kinds of art galleries because we need culture in our lives. It makes our lives better. It makes us smarter. It makes us more interesting, inquisitive people.
What's the history behind this place?
Me and two of my friends in art school felt very sort of disenfranchised by the New York art gallery scene, and decided,
right?
Yeah,
disenfranchised.
a little bit, yeah.
Like there was no place for you?
Like it was a closed system. That it was really a very closed system that was very hard to penetrate.
New York.
Yeah.
Progressive, liberal, open-minded. Not in the art world.
Not in the art world so much, no. It's a very exclusive scene if you're actually trying to make a living or really develop a name for yourself. So we decided we would just make it up as we went along and do our own thing, make it ourselves.
So then how does that turn out to be this gallery?
Well, two of the three partners that started the gallery were from New Jersey. One of them was from Newark. He's originally Portuguese, but he was raised in the Ironbound section.
For those of you who don't know, the Ironbound section of Newark is a community that was at one time disproportionately Portuguese. Now there's still a significant Portuguese population, but it's grown, it's evolved. But the point here is that it was there originally, but now it's in a different location. But talk about the gallery right now. What kinds of artists are we talking about here?
So one of the things that we really set out to do when we started the gallery was make a place for everyone, like really democratic place for everyone. So we pride ourselves in that the artists that we serve are literally of every age range. We worked with artists who are 16 and who are in their 90s.
Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. And they're from all over. We try really hard to make sure that we work with a lot of local artists, but we also work with local, national, and international artists in almost every single show that we do.
What kinds of opportunities have you seen people get through this process?
Well, one of the reasons to include national and international artists all the time is to assist local artists in expanding their network. So if you're in a show with, let's say, someone from, Brussels, and you make a connection with that person, you've now expanded your own network outside of, the area that it was already in into this new sort of area, and you've found somebody that you can collaborate with, partner with, work with, potentially show with in other venues. So that's one of the reasons to try and keep the network net so large, because it serves our local artists.
Let me ask you this. Describe what's going on there in terms of how collaborative it is.
Well, I mean, we work with all sorts of other organizations practically on every project we do. So one of our upcoming projects is a mobile portrait studio. And in addition to working with the Newark 350th Celebration Committee, we will be working with other photographers who've already done portrait projects within the city of Newark. So, we'll be doing a portrait project, but we'll be including, other photographers who've established portrait projects already, and then have an exhibition at the end of the year that includes all of that work. But we've worked with the Newark Museum, the Jersey City Museum, the Hudson Valley Center for Contemporary Art. We've done exhibitions in Detroit, and we've worked with organizations that are smaller than us and much, much bigger than us. So,
I'm curious about this. When did you know that art would be such a big part of your life?
Not until I was an adult.
Come on.
Yeah, no, it's funny, like you talk to a lot of artists and they knew when they were like little kids.
I just had somebody here who said, I was in the womb. I was born, I knew. I was 2 years old, I knew. You say as an adult.
Yeah.
What's up with that?
I was a troublemaker as a kid. And
Get out of here. You said you were born right up around Woodstock.
Around Woodstock, yeah.
But I was in New York. What were you trouble you're making?
Oh, you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised.
And so when did art find you?
When I left upstate and moved to Manhattan, I got a camera and I started taking pictures on my own.
Was that your art?
without any training. Up until then, I had written poetry. It was really bad, terrible, terrible poetry. But when I started taking pictures, I realized it was a very powerful tool. And that sort of was then I started studying photography at School of Visual Arts, and sort of it all snowballed from there.
How important is it for you, professionally and personally, to help other artists pursue their passion and make a difference?
It's interesting. Like I don't make much of my own artwork anymore, which is fine, because I feel like my mission and my purpose is to help other artists.
Your art is to help artists.
Kind of, yeah. Yeah, and I was actually an artist in Chicago who's done some really amazing sort of social practice projects recently that helped me realize that. Theaster Gates, and watching what he's done and realizing that is his creative practice kind of made me realize, yes, that's my purpose. I haven't lost something, I've gained something.
It's a big deal.
It's a big deal, but it's also amazingly fun. Like I work with the most interesting people every single day. Like no day is boring.
But you also have to do the business side. You have to raise money. You have to deal with the finances, and personnel issues, right?
Pretty much.
Don't say that's fun. Do not.
Spreadsheets are not fun.
I was going to tell you, because I know it's this part of the job. The art for me is this.
Right.
I will not say I love the money part, the finance part.
Right.
That's the business part of doing what we do.
Right.
But you love the making a difference.
Absolutely.
Right?
I get to go to work every single day and know that not only have I helped an artist or a group of artists, I'm meeting kids, we're having an effect on kids, and we're not hurting anybody. We're not doing anything, in a world filled with sort of corporate greed and, toxic poisons going into the water. And, there aren't that many industries really that one can work for where they can say, we didn't hurt anybody today.
You mean other than public broadcasting? Evonne Davis, I had to get to that, artistic director at the Gallery Aferro. Thank you for joining us.
Sure, thank you.
You're not hurting anybody. Keep doing what you're doing. You're helping people.
Thank you very much.
Stay with us. We're here at the Newark Museum one-on-one. We'll be right back right after this. You're not hurting anybody.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the CAUCUS Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. And by the Newark Museum, in cooperation with NJTV and 13 for WNET. Funding for this special edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato at Newark Museum has been provided by Bank of America, PSE&G, Cone Resnick, University Hospital, Newark, New Jersey, Johnson & Johnson, Prudential Financial's Global Communications Department, and by the North Ward Center. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area.